Welcome back to Uncaged Chaos. This is the place where we stop performing healing and actually live it. I'm Andi, certified life coach and fellow messy human figuring out this thing we call life. Today, we're talking about something that sounds gentle but feels wildly uncomfortable for the most high-achieving, hyper-independent, trauma-adapted humans. Rest. Not spa day rest, not I'll rest when everything's done rest. But I'm talking about the kind of rest that feels unsafe. The kind where nothing is on fire, but your body doesn't believe it yet. I want to share something that shifted this for me in real time. I was in Pilates class, and we had just finished a pretty intense 45-minute workout in a heated studio. Sweating, muscles shaking, heart rate up the entire time. And then we got to the end, the cool down. We all laid back on our mats. They passed out cool towels and the room got quiet. And for a moment, we just breathed. No pushing, no performing, no trying to get better, just breathing. And it hit me right there. How many of us have never actually let our nervous systems just take a full breath? Like, really take one. Not the kind where you're still mentally running through your to-do list. Not the kind where your body is technically still, but your mind is sprinting. I mean real, full-body exhale. And then another realization followed right behind that. After an intense workout like that, your body doesn't just bounce back the second you stop moving. You don't jump up immediately feeling energized and ready to go. You have to lay there, your chest rising and falling. Your heart rate is slowing down. Your body is actively trying to regulate. There's almost a heaviness, a drop in energy, almost like a wave of exhaustion hits you. And that's normal. That's your body coming down from the intensity. And that is what clicked for me. Healing works the exact same way. When you've been living in survival mode, pushing, bracing, operating at a constant level of stress, your body is essentially in a 24/7 workout. So when you finally start healing, when you finally stop running, you don't just instantly feel better. You feel that drop. You feel the exhaustion because your nervous system is doing exactly what it is supposed to be doing: slowing down, regulating, recovering. And just like in my Pilates class, you can't skip that part. You can't rush your heart rate back to calm no matter how many breaths you're trying to take. You can't force your body to regulate faster. You have to lay there, breathing. And you have to let your system come down on its own time. When you felt in that moment, that heaviness, that drop, that need to just lay there and breathe, that wasn't weakness. That was literally your nervous system shifting states, because your body doesn't just respond to workouts like that. It responds to stress the exact same way. When you live in chronic stress, your body runs on cortisol and adrenaline. It's like being in a constant state of internal exertion. Your heart rate is naturally higher. Your muscles are tighter. Your mind is constantly scanning, processing, anticipating. Even when you're sitting still, your system is still working in overdrive, and your baseline becomes that survival. Your nervous system lives in the sympathetic mode. That's the fight, flight, urgency, hypervigilance. Just like being in that heated Pilates class, pushing, enduring, staying activated. So when you finally step out of that, when the stress lowers, when the chaos quiets, when you stop constantly bracing, your body doesn't immediately feel energized. It does what it did on that mat. It drops. You feel heavy. You don't want to move. You're gasping for air. That isn't regression, it's recalibration. Your nervous system is learning what safety feels like. And when you start finally healing, when the chaos reduces, When the conflict lowers, your body shifts towards the parasympathetic nervous system. That is the rest and digest state. And here's what nobody actually really tells you. You can burn out from healing. Because feeling everything all at once is exhausting. If you're processing trauma, setting boundaries, breaking generational patterns, grieving old versions of yourself, all on top of working on your daily life, that's a lot of fucking work. Emotional labor is still labor. If you don't build in nervous system recovery, your body will start to feel foggy, flat, irritable, and even disconnected. A regular nervous system doesn't feel like fireworks. It actually feels fairly boring and consistent because calm is stable. And if you grew up in chaos, stability can start to feel like stagnation. When your nervous system has been running on cortisol for years, it gets used to it. Actually, it becomes addicted to it. Your brain literally wires itself around survival chemicals. So when life finally gets calm and when the chaos settles, your brain doesn't immediately think safety. It thinks something must be wrong, and then it actually starts to go through withdrawal symptoms. So when you start scanning for problems, you reread texts and assume tone. You pick fights over small things. You overanalyze conversations. Not because you want the drama, but because your nervous system is trying to return to the chemical environment that it knows how to operate in. Your brain is beginning to detox from cortisol. If your identity is built around being the strong one, the productive one, the resilient one, rest will threaten that identity. Because if you're not pushing, who are you? This is where the uncaging starts to happen. You stop measuring growth by output and you start measuring growth by regulation. Now, regulating yourself can feel very overwhelming if you don't know where to start. So here are some very practical ways you can start doing so. Lower your expectations temporarily. Healing is seasonal and will have waves of not pushing yourself constantly. Practice micro rest. Just 5 minutes, no phone. Slow your breathing down. Just feel it and the focus on the movement of your hand on your chest and your body. Track consistency, not intensity. Ask, where was I regulated today? Normalize the feeling of the crash. Instead of getting frustrated with yourself, just simply say, my nervous system is recalibrating. This is normal. For years, your body has been running on stress hormones. The cortisol, the adrenaline, the hypervigilance. Your nervous system has been on a constant drip of urgency. Coming out of that survival mode can feel like withdrawal from an actual substance. Like someone who drinks coffee all day suddenly stopping cold turkey. They're going to be getting headaches, fatigue, brain fog, not because caffeine was helping them thrive, but because their body had just adapted to operating under that stimulation. Your body has been caffeinated by stress for years. Real regulation doesn't feel like adrenaline. It feels steady, quiet, sustainable. If you feel exhausted right now, it doesn't mean you're lazy. And it doesn't mean you're weak. And it sure as hell does not mean that you are failing. It might mean your body finally feels safe enough to stop running. And that is not stagnation, that is repair. And if you're listening to this and realizing you don't just need more awareness, you need support actually living this differently, that is exactly the work I do. I work one-on-one with people who are done living in survival mode, done performing healing, and ready to actually regulate their nervous system and change how they show up in their lives. This isn't surface level. This is real, uncomfortable, identity shifting work. and you don't have to figure it out alone. I'm opening a limited number of spots for one-on-one coaching. And if that's something that you're ready for, you can apply with the link in my bio. Now go take a breath and actually let it count. This is Uncaged Chaos, where we stop glorifying burnout as a strength, where rest isn't weakness, and where healing isn't performative, it's regulation. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is simply nothing at all.